Hi class, this is my DQ5 response. The problems of putting children and adolescents on medications tested on adults is that there is no empirical evidence to support the effectiveness of the medication for the mentioned population. The research conducted have only been done on adults. Therefore, the findings are only sufficient for the adult population. Psychiatrists and physicians have become dependent on medications for adults, and it causes side effects that sometimes cannot be measured on the developing child. The black box warning on medications for children basically serves as a warning to let consumers know that medication is not intended for children and that there can be potential harm. The black box warning also relates to the risk of increased suicidality in children and adolescents prescribed SSRIs and SNRIs. The gateway theory of drug use basically states that using drugs such as alcohol, tobacco, and marijuana lead to the use of harder drugs such as cocaine and heroin. This notion mistakes correlation for causation, therefore making the theory weak and biased. The theory insinuates that the reason for harder drug use is the use of marijuana when there are people who use harder drugs such as cocaine that never used marijuana, or that there are people that use harder drugs as a result of alcohol use. Research shows that harder drug use is actually associated with employment status. People prefer herbaceuticals to prescription because they do not have access to other medications for cost or distribution reasons. People also use them to enhance their well-being. Others have developed a mistrust for traditional Western medicine, believing that natural products are safer and less toxic than drugs. They sense that herbaceuticals are more consistent with patient values or philosophy of health, accepting anecdotal testimonies about efficacy, and finally, people don't believe that they need a prescription. If a client wants to use St. John's wort instead of a prescribed antidepressant, I would inform them about what the plant is and the risk associated. For example, I would emphasize the fact that they do not know what is in the plant and if any cross-contamination has occurred and how that can affect their lives long-term versus using a prescribed medication that clearly lists the ingredients and side effects. If they were to become sick from it, doctors would not know what to treat and how to help because there is no way of knowing exactly what they took, the dosage of it, and the side effects associated with it and how deadly it can be. As a Christian, we aim to be as close to the original plans of God as possible. Addressing this particular topic is controversial because even though herbaceuticals are supposed to be natural, a lot of them are tampered with and customized. God wants us to seek Him directly through His Son, Jesus Christ, not through what plants and other means that seem to be accurate, but can do, because God is interested in our safety and well-being first. So I would caution my clients who believe it's okay because it's natural to consider the origination and location of the herbaceuticals and how it can negatively impact them on a whole before they start taking them. That is my response. Have a good one.